What's up, guys? This is your boy James, aka 68J, coming to you on this Monday, and we got one hell of a show for you guys today. Now, I am gonna be trying to get through this as quick as I can. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I forgot about I was running behind today, and then forgot about a meeting that I have at 2:30. So I'm gonna try to get this done as quick as I possibly can. That means no, at 2 o'clock actually. So that means I'm gonna try to breeze through this ASAP. May not be able to get through everything I want to get through. And that's okay, because what I think I might wind up doing is just coming back and doing a show later on today. After this show, I got a meeting at 2, then we're going to go Christmas shopping. By the way, guys, I don't know about you guys, but that's my favorite time of the year is Christmas. Shopping, the music, the feeling, the vibe. You know, I don't know who, that just carries on from, from when we were young, that feeling, right? And so it's one of my favorite times of the year. So we're going to be going out here in just a little bit. 2 o'clock meeting, so I got to run through this as fast as I can. Markets right now, guys, are very much manipulated, and we'll leave it at that. Market cap right now, $3.1 trillion. Bitcoin coming in at 91,188. Ethereum above $3,100. XRP 208. BNB 90168. Solana 134.25. And guys, right now the markets are what they are. Not a whole lot of bleeding, not a whole lot of green. Bitcoin did wipe out a lot of positions this morning with the fact that it went up from 92 it dropped to 89 and then came right back up to 91. I mean, man, you can't make that up. So, and with nothing going on in the markets, well, markets move, and we've seen this for anybody who's been around for a while. You've seen this in the space, you've seen this in the market. Now don't get me wrong, there's some devastating things that have happened, whether it's COVID, whether it's the FTX collapse, many things that have made this market dumb. It could be news, it could be countries not supporting credit, whatever. And a lot of those things aren't necessarily as impactful now. Obviously, you saw when the whole thing happened with CZ, the market didn't move a whole lot. There are still a lot of things that can move the market, but I think behind anything, when it comes to news, it's a lot of manipulation behind it. A lot of manipulation behind it. And right now, we're not having tariff debates. We're not having, things about, elements or wars or whatever the case may be to be moving the market the way it is. Bitcoin is being accumulated like crazy. You got this crazy narrative right now going on with the bullishness behind the ETFs, whether it's XRP and others. So why we haven't seen this space go up in the as far as moving towards a bull run, I believe there's a lot of manipulation going on. We're going to talk about that as quickly as I can, but I don't want to rush the show, so I think I'm going to come back and do another show. But I want to make sure that I came on, again, we go live Monday through Friday, typically 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Had I done that, I would have had plenty of time to do the show today, but, that's how sometimes the cookie crumbles. But I want to go over a couple of things, specifically, about the one and the one being XRP. Obviously, there's a lot of amazing assets out there. There's a lot of things that I'm really excited about that's connected to ISO 20022, utility, and just coins that are really going to impact and make a difference in how we do business in the world today. So I'm really excited about those type of assets. We'll go over a couple of things now. I definitely do have a lot of things to talk about in regards to the topic, but I think I'm going to come back and do a part 2 just because I don't want to be rushed and I don't want to be speeding through things. But there's some stuff that I want to go over, and I wanted to show this video by Lewis Jackson, just talking about XRP. I always have people hitting me up, Jay, how much XRP do I need? Jay, what's going on? So I'm going to go over that a little bit, and then if I can cover a few things before I get up out of here at 2 o'clock, right before 2 o'clock, because of the meeting that I have set. It's a mentorship, and I do mentor people in this space, and so these are very prominent, very influential, powerful people, and I respect people when they reach out, and my time is been dedicated to them at 2, so I'm gonna make sure I hear and get out of here. Okay, so shouts out real quick. Let me say this: DCA Crypto Dave's in the house. Shouts out my brother XRP Hustle Hard is in the house. We got Real Canal Life. Good to see my brother Beekeeper 69 is in the house. Appreciate you, my brother Crypto Tropics. Big Bro Tim, what's up, sis? Good to see you. Nawali is in the house. Good to see you, Nawali. So we're gonna get through this ASAP, and then we're gonna come back. So again, guys, nothing really spectacular happened in the market. Slight green. crazy. This morning it was more a lot more red than that. Bitcoin has made a rebound of about a couple $1,000s since then. Yeah, let's get into some things here in regards to topics. Now, by the way, guys, if you tune in this for the first time, and I know I'm all over the place because I'm kind of mindful of the time now, like literally 20-something minutes. My name is James, aka 68J. I've been in crypto since 2017. 8 amazing years documenting my journey and evolution of money. It's been absolutely incredible. We got the greatest family on planet Earth. I appreciate you guys in a major way. But remember, nothing we talk about on this show should ever be considered or deemed financial advice, for I'm not a financial advisor. Now, one of the old school videos that I ran across that I really like a lot, and this is Lewis Jackson. We're going to play a little Lewis Jackson, being that we don't have a lot of time right now, and then I'll come back and continue this conversation a little bit later after I go shopping and all that stuff with my wife. Going to do some Christmas shopping, and I'll call that part 2. How about that? So that way I don't cheat you guys out of the stuff that I've actually gone out and done some research on. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about today, but I don't want to rush through it. So let's listen to a little Lewis Jackson right now, and then we'll just see what time takes us, and we'll go from there. So one of the things I like about this video with Lewis Jackson, he talks about how much XRP do you really need by what age. So we're going to go through this video. I'll probably spend my time doing this, and then we'll come back and continue on with part 2 if you guys don't mind. So let's check it out.
Well, do I have a fun video for you today? How much XRP should you have accumulated in your investing journey so far at specific age groups? So I'm going to get into all the calculations, all the numbers that I've been kind of assessing here. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a golden nugget of information that you can actually take and action today that could literally change the outcome of this bull run that's about to happen at any moment. Fingers crossed. But before we get into it, I want to let you know of something that's happening for the first time ever on this channel. On June the 19th, 2025, but I've put a form in the description of this video. If you're interested in attending and you're open to coming, it's going to be an amazing chance for us all to meet each other, talk about crypto, email address, and whether you're interested in coming to this event. I'll prioritize everyone that's on this list in that first round of emails that I send out. Hear me out on the thought process here of this video, because I know we've got that kind of XRP rich list, and you can see the table. Maybe I've put it on screen somewhere here, and you can see how the top 1% of crypto holders, how many asset or XRP holders, how many XRP they hold, right, to be in the 10%, the 30%, the 40%, so on and so forth. And, as I look through that, I think this is really cool information, but it's not really tangible. You can't really do anything about it. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, cool. And there's nothing really else that goes into that. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper. But first we have to make a couple of assumptions. So the first assumption is, and it is kind of a big assumption, and forgive me, I have to draw the line somewhere. I think most people's desire is to be in the top 10% in earning capacity in general, right? I think top 10% is highly achievable for almost everyone in a very specific audience like this. Obviously, the top 10% isn't normal, but I think 10% is achievable. Even if you've got a small portfolio right now, you can work towards the top 10%. It's a bit easier. I have made these calculations with the help of AI, of course, saying that the ideal target for people in XRP is to be in the top 10%, right? That's where everyone wants to be. I would agree. In order to calculate how much XRP you need, I needed to calculate what the averages would be for people who are already in the top 10%, because that's going to be like the control. What I had to look for was the top 10% of earners. And then another...
Shouts out to Ivan Hernandez. Good to see you, my brother.
...assumption. If you're in that top 10% of earners, if you then invest 10% of your net worth into XRP, how many XRP would you have? And if you do those calculations, that sets the barrier as to where the token value amount is to be in the top 10% in the world. And so I might have explained that not so well, but we're going to get into that. And I've got a lovely little graph here to show you. So I think we just get straight into it, right? We'll just get into the numbers. Then I'm going to give you that golden nugget at the end, which is actually going to be really helpful.
Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this for a second and get into some content, and we'll come back to this either before I leave or later on when I continue my show, only because I don't want to, there's some nuggets of what he says that I think is absolutely incredible, and I might come back to it before we get up out of here. So because of time constraints and the fact that I will continue on with it, please excuse my oh, come on, brother. Much love to you, Ness Force. Excuse my tardiness, brother. My tardiness. I should have been here at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 12 p.m. this time. But A lot of stuff going on, and I got a late start today. And then, like I said, we're gonna try to hurry up and get out of here because I got a 2 o'clock mentorship call, and then we're going to go Christmas shopping. So I think I'm gonna do part 2 of this a little bit later today. Okay, bull run. I know that's something that I've been getting a lot of messages, a lot of inquiries about from friends, family. Anytime somebody can catch me, Jay, what about this? Because they really don't get it. They don't understand. They're so used to the 4-year cycle. What happened? Did we miss it? There's no such thing. Everything's different, guys. And so I won't get too much in that for time constraints, but I'll just say it is not a matter of but when. It's going to happen. I believe we're still in the midst of a bull run. It's just different. Things are different. Things are extremely bullish right now. I do believe there's a lot of manipulation in the markets, but I think, how will 2026, that's another thing people keep asking me too, is like, how do you think 2025 is going to end? And my answer is however they want it to. That's the bottom line. However they want it to. Right, because right now this is no more speculation. Like in 17, we were in a hype cycle. Then it was a speculative cycle in 2021, and now we're in a utility cycle. And you've heard many of people, whether it's the Zach Rectors, Lewis Jackson, who I have on here, Jimmy Valleys, Jake Clavers, whoever it is, you've heard them talk about everything being put in place, right? And you guys, you got to remember, XRP had this vision. XRP is kind of like when you think about, Amazon back in the days. You think the guy just went from books into where he's at now. No, I would imagine he was doing books and obviously the Kindle and all that stuff. And then while preparing for what we see today with Amazon. And so, Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse made this comment. He goes, in the beginning, Amazon was books and there's so much more. And then I remember him making that comment like a year ago or something. Like he said, Ripple was just cross-border payments, and now we're so much more. All of a sudden, you see Amazon all of a sudden evolve into, what they have now, Amazon Prime and all these different things. And now you see Ripple. What are they called again? What is that? What is they? What was that acquisition they did? And all of a sudden, it's called what? Was it Standard Chartered or whoever? There's several, Medico, several of them. But at the end of the day, what is it called? Ripple Prime. Amazon Prime, Ripple Prime. And I say that, guys, and I know you guys have heard this before. I say that only because I don't think most people are prepared for what's happening. When you look at the things that Garlinghouse is saying, and again, I know we're a dominant XRP channel. I wasn't planning on becoming a dominant XRP channel. I heard somebody the other day talk about this channel, and they were saying who was it? Matter of fact, it was Fuma. Shouts out to Fuma, Zeddy. Shouts out to Fuma. He gave a lot of love on this show, man. We talked yesterday. Shouts out to Fuma. I had a great conversation with Fuma. I had a great conversation with Marvin Davis yesterday, and some others. The last couple of days been a lot of conversations to do this last weekend. Had a really, really meaningful conversations with quite a few of my family members, which that's what you guys are. And Fuma said, you guys got to go check out 68J. He talks primarily about XRP. And I listened. I said, damn, I kind of do primarily talk about XRP. Now, it wasn't always the case. If you guys go over and you look at our Crypto for Life page, now, obviously, we have some of the biggest, greatest interviews with some of the most brilliant minds in the space. But we used to cover back in the day, and I'm probably going to get more into that, I think, once we get there. But we were talking about a coin a day, a coin a week, a coin every few days, a coin a month. We really were covering a lot of different assets. Now, maybe a lot of the new assets, I haven't done that with, like maybe XCN, ZBCN, things like that. There's probably some coins I haven't gotten to yet. And there's a lot of people out there that are actually covering those assets. So I don't really have to get into those things, even though there are some coins that I like, and I'm like, oh, these are kind of really interesting projects that I will go back to 10%ers, right? Those things that I would allocate 10% of my worth into. But what happened is during the time, and again, for those of you guys who don't know, I've been around crypto for 8 years and the YouTube scene for about 3 years, exactly 3 years, a little over 3 years now, because it was like November 10th or 11th, it was 3 years. And what pushed me, I always held XR people really pushed me, is that I got intrigued with the corruption and manipulation. And it was so, I guess the best way to say it is I hate bullies. I honestly, I just hate bad people. I hate, and if I've ever bumped heads with anybody in this space, And it's so funny. I was talking to Marvin Davis about this. I was talking to Foom about this. I was talking to Mike. Oh, I was talking to some other people. It's funny when I look at my life. I've never had this much controversy than I've had, and I've had some. Don't get me wrong. But you can control the narrative in your business life, in your personal life. You pick and choose. When you get into this space, when media, internet, all that kind of stuff, you subject yourself to just a whole lot. And so I don't want to get too sway off what I'm saying, but I really don't like bullies, and I really hate liars and connivers and all that kind of stuff. And I found myself trying to coexist, and that's just not the way to go. But going back into how I got into XRP, because again, there's a lot of things I'm just kind of over, and I've talked to some people, and we're just kind of moving out in different directions. But what I'll tell you is that I started seeing this asset that was being bullied. Now, my son, who's here, and my oldest and my youngest, I remember them, my oldest and my middle son, I remember them going through certain stages of bullying because they didn't go to schools in areas that I went to, the hard knocks. Like I said, I had my first knife pulled at 11 years old. I mean, just a lot of stuff that I endured that I had to go through. Walking as a young kid with a backpack, going to school and seeing body. But it's just like, I know a lot of people say, that's my life though. That was my life. So for me, I hate bullying. It just makes me sick. So I used to, I used to go to schools and talk about bullying. I used to protect, if my kids got bullied for any reason, I would nip it in the butt. I mean, immediately. And they even, at one of the private schools my kids were going to many years ago, they actually started a rule based off of how I reacted into a bullying. That's a whole nother show. But anyways, so what really got me into, I've already was in XRP, but really started getting me into it. Just really seeing the bullying that was going on by the SEC, the amount of corruption. And the more I dug, the more I got obsessed with, wow, like, are you, like, through this corruption and through this whole little thing that was going on, you can see the light. You can see what was actually going on. And man, there's no greater feeling for you guys who are here now that have fought and had that mindset to look at them and go, damn, we were right. Like, we always knew we were right, but just seeing it. And there have been moments like when Trump, listed XRP on the, Truth Social, as the main one, the number one asset here in the United States. First one came out of his mouth, and you see things that happen with Brad Garlinghouse talking about Ripple's at the center, XRP's at the center of everything Ripple does, or Brad Garlinghouse saying 14% in 5 years, very conservative numbers based off of certain people like Canary Capital CEO saying that's very conservative numbers, and my man over at what was that, Tectrum. And so Sal, was it Garside or something like that? No, Sal, I don't know. He's following me. I'm following him. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make, guys, is it's just exciting to see where things are unraveling. And, now we're seeing the ETFs. We're seeing so many things. Obviously, we won the lawsuit. Obviously, we're 6-0 against the SEC. That's what really pushed me down. And I just never stopped. And that led into the documentary. It led into so many things that people try to dismiss. Oh, the documentary wasn't that important. And I'm not getting into that, but it's just kind of funny because that documentary was a big deal. And Bitcoin's documentary wasn't crap when Bitcoin was $100. Nobody gave a damn about that documentary or any other documentary with crypto until it started gaining momentum. And I really do believe that Rig from the Start by Fruition Productions will be iconic when XRP hits the number 2 spot or number 1. People are like, why? How? What happened? How do we miss it? And they're going to go back and do their research and be like, holy crap. Just like a lot of people when they come in and look at the Bitcoin documentary. So anyways, which is like night and day because you're talking about something that is exposing a lot of things that we're now, that we've seen and now that has obviously come into fruition. So anyways, so that's what kind of sent me down that rabbit hole of XRP and why I got so laser focused on it. And I'm going to stay focused on it because I do believe it is one of the most impactful, one of the most important assets that will not only change this world, but because of the corruption, and Linda P. Jones, and I talk about this all the time, and Molly Elmore said, it will end up being the biggest blessing because some of you guys would have never got it at $2. Some of you guys would have never got it at 50 cents. And because of what they did, and they ruined and wrecked and hurt a lot of people, including costing Ripple a lot of money, but there was a quiet blessing in the whole ordeal. And that blessing is the fact that we're able to get this asset that's sitting still currently right now, the number 3 asset in the world, number 1 in the United States for $2 funky compared to other assets in the top 5, 900, 130, 3,100, 90,000. $2. So you're damn straight. I'm excited about it. So anyways, again, it's not if, but when. And again, we're going to come back with part 2 because I see I got about 8 minutes before my call. So let's play a little bit more of Lewis Jackson. We're going to get up out of here. Okay. And again, I apologize for being late. This is going to be part 1 of part 2. Part 2 will come later after my call and after my Christmas shopping. I'm going to come back and I'm going to deliver some heat today.
To be in the top 10% of XRP holders, you only have to have 2,500 to 3,000 XRP tokens.
Wow.
I'm assuming that
2,500 to 3,000 XRP tokens. What would that have cost you? What would that cost you now? 2.5. So let's say 3,000, right? So 3,000. What would 3,000 XRP tokens cost the average person today to be in the top 10%? That's nuts. Times what's the current price? 208. 208. So as of right now, it would cost you $6,240 to be in the top 10% based off the numbers that he's giving. And if you were lucky enough and fortunate enough to had got this damn asset, this incredible asset, why you curves at 6.8 back a year and a month ago in November, you'd have paid $1,500. See how quick that goes from $1,500 to $6,750? What happens when it goes to $10? What happens when it goes to $20, $30? It's gonna be hard for a lot of people getting that top 10%. Check it out.
basically everyone has that many. So much so that it calls into question.
No J-Way. And I appreciate you, my brother, for coming in and saying it's not number 3, but it is actually number 3. So let's count it together, right? 1 is Bitcoin, my brother. 2 is Ethereum, my brother. 3 is XRP. You don't count stablecoins. Stablecoins are not like altcoins. Okay, stablecoins are stablecoins. They don't move up and down in pricing based off of people. They stay the same. So, again, respectfully, my brother, number 3. This list right here is based off of market cap, not based off of the actual asset itself and what it does as far as a crypto or an altcoin. Number 1 altcoin in the world, Bitcoin. Number 1 altcoin in the United States, XRP. Number 2 altcoin in the world, Ethereum. Number 3 altcoin in the world, XRP. You get it, my man? Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna help you out with this too. Number 4 crypto asset in the world is BNB. Number 5 crypto asset in the world is Solana, not number 7. It's based off that, predicated off of the market cap. Okay, my man? All right, my brother. Much love to you. All right, let's keep it going.
Question. Hang on a second. If the top 10% of holders...
By the way, shouts out to J-Way. Shouts out to my beautiful queen, Jeanette. Shouts out to Jay Henry. Shouts out to Real Canal Life. Much love. Appreciate you, my brothers.
Have 2,500 to 3,000 tokens. How is that possible? Because that's not much. Well,
Facts.
you are disregarding the idea that there are so many wallets out there with dust in them. There's probably
Woo! You guys hear what he said? There's so many wallets out there with dust. And what he's talking about is a lot of time they create this narrative of how many wallets exist, right? These numbers. Well, it has to be this many people, millions of people. But most people don't realize, I would bet you anything in this world that I have at least 20, maybe more XRP wallets. So if I got 20, can you think about, shouts out to J-Way, can you think about people who've been in the space for a lot? Because what happens is you move your assets, if you're on, let's say Binance and you have a wallet there, that's a wallet. If you move over, if you've ever done anything with Coinbase, you probably created a wallet. If you know what I'm saying? So every time, and that's why back in the, I think it's changed now, but I know back in the day, because I haven't really used exchanges like that. I mean, my bags have been packed for years. So facts. So I haven't really used, but they used to lock up, I think, they used to lock up, was it 10 or 20 or 15 XRP or something like that? I think they've lowered it now, but they used to lock where you couldn't even take it out of there. And then I remember someone come on and doing a show where they were talking, okay, well, you locked up our XRP, but what happens when it's worth $100 or $1,000? So I think that might have changed. But the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot less wallets than people think. That's a fact.
3,000 tokens. How is that possible? Because that's not much. Well, you are disregarding the idea that there are so many wallets out there with dust in them. Mm-hmm. There's probably more wallets with dust than there are people with actual holdings in those wallets.
What he's talking about dust is that would be the 10 XRP or whatever they used to hold, 10, 15, 20, whatever it was. I think they might have got it down to like 5 maybe now or something like that. It's been so long since because I don't mess with exchanges, haven't in years, honestly. But that's what he's talking about, dust. So there's a lot of I probably got, so if I had 20, maybe, I think I probably got more than that, but let's say if I had 20, because I got some that I actually use now, I probably got like 5 or so that I use now. But I know over the last 8 years, there's some of my wallets that I've transferred to XRP, and it's just still sitting with whatever that 10 or 15 or 20 was, whatever the hell that number was. And that's what he's relating to when he says dust.
And so it's kind of hard to kind of estimate in that way. But
Right.
the top 10%, regardless, is
Right.
2,500 to 3,000 XRP tokens.
That's right.
To be in the top 10% by net worth at age 20, you have to have $281,500 as your net worth. That is, I mean, that seems like quite a far stretch for someone in their 20s. But nevertheless, if you want to be in the top 10%, that's how much you got to have. Because we're then going to extrapolate. If you have 10% of your net worth in XRP, then we know how many XRP tokens would get you truly into the top 10%, and disregarding all of those dust accounts, right? And so if you're in your 30s, $711,000. In your 40s, it'd be $1.31 million in your net worth. At age 50, $2.63 million. At age 60, it's $3 million. These are all representative of the top 10% of people in terms of net worth. And so we have to also draw the line on what the price of XRP is. The price is going to fluctuate. I've gone for $2.50 because that's what it was recently. And it's a nice, easy number. If we take the 90th percentile of net worthers and assume that 10% of their wealth is allocated specifically in XRP, and then you divide that by today's price, or that $2.50 price,
Right.
you get to figure out an exact target amount of XRP per age group that would put you in the top 10%.
Now, he actually did this video 6 months ago. So XRP went from the 250 to 340, I think it was 340 something, back down to, obviously in the high ones, and now we're at 208. So, the numbers have obviously changed because we're in a bit of a decline, but the concept is still the same. Shouts out to Jose. Shouts out to Operation Shutdown. Shouts out to Beekeeper69. Shouts out to J-Way. Appreciate all you guys. And by the way, guys, I'm going to be jumping out of here in just a few more minutes. I got my man John, who's going to hold it down, and so I can go and consult with the people that I'm going to be consulting with, and then I will be back a little bit later for part 2 of this. So love you guys.
Truly. And what you would need to do from 2,500 to 3,000 XRP in terms of a multiplier that will get you to that top 1% for your age category. Are you ready? If you're liking this, subscribe to the channel. It helps tremendously, and like it and share it if this would be of interest to anyone else in your life.
Now, I'll say this too, guys, as he's saying this. I know I've got family, even my wife has more than the was it the average, I think, like, was it 3,000, something like that. So she has, her personal little bag that she has, and I know family members, but they didn't get it at today's price. They got it at a little cheaper. But the point I'm trying to make is what that average, let's say, of 3,000, I think it was like 3,000. I don't know the new rich list 10% number. I think it was like 3,000, 3,300 XRP. But that is only going to get, when you look at these ETFs and everything that's been put in place, guys, and you look at the fact that we haven't had our moment yet, like even with Bitcoin, once it, the ETFs came out, it did a little bit of a capitulation, sideways movement for about 3 months or so, and then it exploded. We haven't gotten there yet. When we do, it's going to be damn near impossible for the average person. And I'm predicating that off of, let's say, a $10, right? A $10 XRP. Because now you're talking about a $10, if you're talking about 3,000 coins or 3,000 XRP, holding 3,000 XRP, and that's the average to put you in the 10%. Now that's going to cost you, what, $30,000, right? So right now you're talking about 6,700. Just a year and a month ago, it was 1,500. 15 to 67 to 30,000. I'm just telling you guys, it's going to change quickly. Now I know there's other assets and everything else. we're just specifically talking about XRP because, again, when you understand the importance of this asset, what's happening with this asset, it's kind of like, well, it's it's like, well, I got this and I got these coins with 0 zeros and all these zeros, but I'm just telling you, not everything's going to move the same. Not everything is the same. Not everything's going to be adopted the same. Not everything has the same use case. So when you look back at Bitcoin, where it was, even when Da Vinci J was saying what he was saying, and where it's at, night and day. Most people can't even afford one. Can you imagine? And that's what I think the takeaway of this thing is. It's like back in the day, you could get, 100 Bitcoin for nothing, 1,000 Bitcoin for, what was it, like $10 or something like that? $10 for 1,000. And it's like now most people can't even afford one Bitcoin. And I kind of put this video up that where Da Vinci J, and I showed the differences. He had a video 15 years, 13, 14, whatever the hell, where it was. He was saying get one Bitcoin for $1, just one freaking dollar. And today he was telling people to get 800 and something Satoshis for $1. 800 something Satoshi. There, I mean, what? There's 10 million. Well, no, there's 100 million Satoshis in $1. He's telling people just to get 800 something. Some weird thing. Like, I have to go back and look at the video, but that's how quick things can change. And I love this. I think this is a brilliant breakdown by Lewis Jackson.
If you're 20 years old, listen up, young'uns. In order to be in the top 10% in terms of net worth, you have to have $281,500. If you allocate 10% of your net worth into XRP, that means you would have $28,155 in your portfolio.
Right.
Meaning 11,300 XRP tokens. So if you're in your 20s right now and you have more than 11,300 XRP tokens, you are in the top 10% and you are doing fantastically. If you've got less than that, I don't blame you because you're 20. Like, do your best, work your hardest, get as much money as you can. Because what we're talking about here is if you allocate 10% of your net worth. I know many of you cheeky people in here, you haven't just allocated 10% of your net worth, right? This is more achievable the higher the percentage of your contribution based on your net worth.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna get off. I just got a message from my guy that everybody's on the call right now waiting for me. So again, I've got to do an investor call right now, or not investor, but a mentorship call right now. I'm gonna be going and doing my Christmas shopping. I apologize for being late. And I thank you guys for your time. I will be creating, after I'm done with this, shouts out to Sly Fox. If you want to go watch the rest of this Lewis Jackson video, please go do it. He's dropping bars. And it's how much XRP do you need based off your age. I love this. I'm bringing it up only because I think everything's getting ready to change. I think, we're going to get through 2025. I can't say how it's going to end. I know there was a lot of bullish narratives and a lot of bullish projections for 2025. I believe that the setback, as you've seen a lot of people talk about, Zach Rectors, Jake Clay, the setback was the government shutdown. That set us back about just over a month. And so if you look at a lot of the bullish things that we expected in 2025, it could, easily well be pushed into the first Q1 of 2026. So can't say how the end of this year is going to end, but I can say the manipulation is still there and is still real. But again, got to get off the call, got to jump on the Zoom. I just got the link sent. I will be back today. I promise you guys that I will be back today to do part 2 of this video. So again, we will see you guys then. We're going to leave you guys with that. We'll come back and talk about the one. The one will be the topic a little bit later. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Shouts out to DCA Crypto Dave, Roderick Sumner's in the house, Fishing with Camo Joe, Operation Shutdown. Thanks for the stream. No, I'm gonna be back. Operation Shutdown. I promise you. Part 2. This is part 1. The one. There's a lot of stuff. I got a whole list of things here on X I want to talk about. A lot of points, a lot of things that's going on with the manipulation, everything else that's happening, what we can expect in the short term, and hopefully going into Q1. But we'll see you guys for part 2 here in a little bit. So Operation Shutdown. Much love, DCA Crypto Dave, Roderick Sumner, Fishing with Camo Joe, anybody else, Jose, Art Caffeine, Beekeeper 69, Ivan Hernandez, Crypto Outlaws in the house, Beekeeper 69, I said that already, Jose, I think I got everybody. Nest Force, appreciate you, my brother. My beautiful Queen Jeanette, Jay Henry, I'll be ready in just a little bit, honey, I got my call, and then we're going to be getting out there. I love Christmas shopping, guys, I love it. Okay, who else? XRP Hustle Hard. Big Bro 10. All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit. Nawali. Anybody else before we get up out of here? Shouts out to my man Sly Fox. I think we got everybody. Okay, guys, see you guys in a few hours. I will post a thumbnail and put it out on X and then send it out to everybody. See you guys in a little bit again. My apologies for having to cut this short. Forgot about my doggone call. Okay, much love to you guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, it's your boy James, aka 68J. We'll catch you soon. Peace. Creators Family on planet Earth. EARF. We'll see you guys later for part 2. Don't miss it. Yeah!